This is a story of people. People helping people help themselves. It is the story of the Volunteer Interfaith Caregiver Program, VICaP. Interfaith caregivers programs developed slowly in the United States in the 1980s. Our organization was initiated in March 1992 with the training of about 30 volunteers by leaders of the Phoenix program. The beginnings in Sierra Vista were under the guidance of the City Commission on Disabilities Issues. Councilwoman Ethel Berger, liaison to the Commission, continues a lively interest in VICaP. In 1994, a coalition of people from faith communities and organizations was gathered under the leadership of Ross McGuire to form the organizing group. Faith communities and interested persons represented on the board of directors, working with a $25,000 startup grant from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, set up the program and began offering services as an incorporated not-for-profit organization. Since its formal inception in 1994, VICaP's assistance to older, homebound, and disabled neighbors has grown rapidly. In 2005, more than 1,600 calls for services were handled by the office. Currently, VICaP has 2 paid employees, a part-time program director and an administrative assistant. Our program director manages the office, interacts with people in the community, recruits and trains volunteers, tells the VICaP story, and perhaps most importantly, oversees the scheduling of the volunteers and helping neighbors. When a neighbor calls in to request assistance from VICaP, a home assessment visit is made by office staff to determine service needs. There are people in the community who need transportation to medical appointments. Calls for this help are very frequent. A volunteer speaks about this experience.
There's no better way to love your neighbor than do something for them to help them. And I can't tell you how much pleasure it gives me to meet such wonderful people who are in need. And a lot of them have become good friends of mine. I really enjoy it very much.
From the making of a wheelchair ramp to fixing a porch or a leaking faucet, there are times when a helping hand can be a big boost to those on a limited income or those unable to do the work themselves. Such assistance enables neighbors to enjoy their own places of residence for a longer period. One of the real problems of older neighbors is simply getting around in the community. VICaP volunteers provide transportation not only to medical appointments, but to other places of importance, such as pharmacies or grocery stores. Where they can, neighbors enjoy doing their own shopping. Some of our volunteers simply see that the neighbors get to the store. For those who cannot get out, there are volunteers who will shop for them. This periodic help answers a need for a growing number of people in the area. Primary caregivers of a homebound or bedfast person need times of release to relax or to do errands for an hour or two. When available, there are VICaP volunteers to fill the gap and provide a short-term presence and support to the confined. There are those in the area who, at times, appreciate a little help in preparing shopping lists and reconciling bank statements and writing letters and interpreting documents or in working their way through other business details. VICaP volunteers are ready to help. Those who have no family members close by, or perhaps no family at all, and no nearby friends, do enjoy visits and phone conversation on a regular basis. A cheery visit or phone call can do much to bring pleasure to those without a support system of friendly concern. Volunteers can do this, and provided it's short-term or intermittent, basic kinds of support, the VICaP program seeks to enhance the independence and dignity of those faced with mobility and health challenges because of temporary or permanent infirmity. The goal is to help people live independently for as long as possible. At the center of the VICaP program, of course, are the volunteers. Volunteers currently donate over 4,000 hours a year, and they drive over 40,000 miles. But the need for new volunteers always exists, because volunteer availability changes rapidly. The success of the program's goal of helping neighbors help themselves depends on a large pool of volunteers to handle a growing number of requests. The VICaP office is located at the Sierra Vista Regional Health Center, which donates space and utilities. The hospital uses VICaP transportation services frequently for special patient needs. The office is in a building just behind the main facility. Because of calls from nearby communities, a group of volunteers has been trained in Bisbee and Benson. Bisbee and Benson handle between 40 and 50 calls a month. As an extension to offering business help, VICaP contracts with the Area Agency on Aging to do medical insurance counseling in Cochise, Santa Cruz, Graham, and Greenlee counties. VICaP is governed by an interfaith board of directors composed of 10 to 20 members. Meetings are held monthly. Membership is drawn from participating churches and organizations. VICaP is a nonprofit 501c3 corporation. Gifts are tax deductible. Board meetings are open to the public. VICaP is grateful to the businesses and churches pictured in this video for their support, and also to the Fort Huachuca Community Spouses Club, service clubs, and individuals for gifts. Continuing gifts, donations, and grants are vital to the effective operation of this interfaith community program, assisting older and disabled neighbors with basic short-term help. These gifts support leadership and the necessary administration for the recruitment, training, and coordination of volunteers, such as the one here giving service to a neighbor. Gifts may be sent to VICaP, Post Office Box 3004, Sierra Vista, Arizona 85636. To be a volunteer, call 459-8146. Training takes about 1 hour. Each volunteer chooses his or her own types of activity and the times of availability per week or month. Remember, the concept of VICaP is many community participants of faith groups working together to give helpful assistance to older and disabled people in need. Through these ways, friendly phoning, friendly visiting, shopping, transportation, business help, handy person help, and respite sitting. We invite you then to join in this cooperative effort of caring, of people helping people help themselves.